Welcome to another edition of Shorty on the Fly. This is beginner's lesson number 2. And this heinous looking little critter in front of you will be the subject of our lesson today. This is a very simple bead head hare's ear. And I know it looks like there's not much to it, and how the heck can that catch fish? But believe me, this is a fish getter, and it's really easy to tie. So stay with me. For a hook today, I'm using a size 16 scud hook, and I have a gold bead attached to it. This will work down to size 18 and 20. They're really easy to tie, but I'm using the 16 today for demonstration purposes. So I have the barb pinched, I have the hook in the vise, and for thread, I'm using good old Olive 6.0 Danville. So we'll get our thread started on the hook, just behind the bead, and take touching wraps all the way down the hook to into the bend. I never understand why people use a curved hook and then don't use the curve as part of the fly. So then we're going to snip off the excess, and now run the thread back up to the bead. This is really important. For our tail, in this case, we're going to be using pearl crystal flash, and this is on the size 16. If you get down to the 18 or the 20, you might want to use midge flash. It's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit thinner. But for this, we're going to use 2 strands of the pearl crystal flash. I've evened up the tips, and if your tips aren't even, just get in there and snip them with the scissors. And now, to get this started, I'm going to try to shove those into the bead just a little, and then grab with the thread. And it's important that we keep those 2 strands on top of the hook. And in order to do that, I don't know if you can see it, I'm pulling the material slightly toward me, because thread torque is going to carry the material, try to take it to the back of the hook. If I take it slightly toward me, then it gets into the right position. And when I get just around the bend of the hook, I'm going to come in and snip off so the tail is about a hook gap in length. Now for the body, I'm using some homemade hare's ear dubbing. If you don't have homemade, you can use the store-bought stuff, but the homemade is a little buggier looking. It's got more guard hairs in it, and I just prefer to use that. But again, when we're going to go to dub this, as I've said in previous videos, you're looking for a very little bit. It's always easier to add more if you need it than take it away. So I'm taking small wisps here, to put onto the thread. I'm going to start out by creating about a 3-inch noodle, and I'm probably going to need to do more later. Let me tighten that one up a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to start taking touching turns up the hook, trying to create a little bit of a taper, a little bit of shape. And there you see I'm going to need a little bit more, and that's just fine. So I'm going to come back and start putting it on again a little bit at a time. We don't want lumps or bumps or any of that. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to run the dubbing up almost into the bead, which will help hold the bead in place and create a nice looking little fly here. Now, as you see, as I get closer and closer to the bead, I'm going to keep wrapping, increasing the tension. And although it looks like that should be getting bigger and bigger, it's not, because I'm increasing the tension on the thread as I wrap, and it kind of runs it down into the back of that bead. And there we are. Now we come in with a whip finisher, do a 3 or 4 turn whip finish, and there you have it. That is all there is to it. And I like those spiky guard hairs sticking out there. To tell you the truth, if I were stranded out in the woods and I needed one fly to catch my dinner, this would be the one that I'd want in my box. I often use this as a dropper behind a heavier nymph like a size 12 bead head prince or copper john, especially when you're using the smaller ones, the 18s or 20s. And earlier this season, I caught my biggest fish of the season on a size 20 version of this. It was a 24-inch wild brown on the first day that I went out, and it absolutely pounded it. So there you have it. That's as simple as it gets, folks. Tie them up, get them out there, fish them, enjoy yourself. I bid you peace.